Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the sixth grade concept of ratios as multiplicative comparisons. This is standard 6.4C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 27 of the 2024 released STAAR test. This is a new item type called multiple select, and if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we need to select two correct answers. So I'm just going to randomly select these first two. Notice I cannot select a third, so it's impossible to select three. And if I just select one, it is going to give me a warning saying you have not completely answered the problem. So let's make sure we get both points on this 2-point problem. So the situation looks like it's pretty simple. We've got 5 student volunteers for every 2 adult volunteers, right? So I'm going to just draw a picture of that. I'm going to put 5 students like this. I'm going to make them small so we can see that they're students. And then I'm going to put in a different color 2 adults, right? Maybe a teacher and a teacher assistant. You never know. All right, so there we go. That's our ratio. We've got 5 students for every 2 adult volunteers. So which groups could represent the numbers of student volunteers and adult volunteers at this event? And then we just have a whole list of students and adults. So how do we check that? Well, let's set them up here like this. I'm going to use labels here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set up a series of possible proportions and see are they equivalent, right? So 5 students, I can put my students in my numerator, and I'm going to put my adults right in my denominator, and I'm going to see, is that going to be equal to, let's look at this first one, 120 and 48. 128 students, labels are important, 48 adults, because you want the adults to be the adults in the denominator, the students to be across from the students in the numerator. So you're thinking, can you create an equivalent fraction in which this works? Well, I'm not sure what makes 120 from 5, but I do know that 2 times 24 makes 48. So if this is going to work, what I would need 24 to be the multiplier for both numerator and denominator. Let's see, I've got 24 times 5. Okay, that's 10. Okay, that works. So this one does work because it is the same proportion. If you were to count out by every 5 and every 2, you'd be good. Let's check this next one. I've got 5 students over 2 adults, and that's going to be now 20 students, 50 adults. All right, I can already tell you that's going to be wrong. Because look, this is an improper fraction. I got more students than adults. Look what I have over here. I have more students. I have more adults than students. And that's incorrect. They flipped it, right? They flipped it. If you could flip these numbers, you're good, but I'm not even going to bother multiplying that. The students have to be more than the adults. All right, let's look at this next one here. So I've got 5 students for 2 adults, and that's going to be 85 students, 34 adults. All right, so multiply by 2 again. That's going to be 17. All right, double 17, you get 34. Let's see if that works. 17 times 5, 35. Yeah, all right, so that one works, which means the other two need to be wrong. Let's just verify. 5 students, 2 adults, multiply by something that's going to give me my 70 students, 14 adults. All right, so I'm going to multiply the denominator again by 7. Yeah, that doesn't work. 5 times 7 makes 35, so that's not going to work. And then let's do the 5 students to 2 adults, multiply by something. It's going to get me 65 students, 13 adults. Well, that's going to be weird because if I multiply by 13, I get 5 times 13 gives me 65, but that doesn't work, right? 2 times no whole number gets me 13, so that doesn't work either. All right, so it's the first and third option.